So have we started? I guess we haven't started yet.
No, we're just kind of chatting.
We're
Okay.
Oh,
chatting
yes,
as
we
people.
have actually.
Oh, we have started? Okay.
We're deep into it, Mark, didn't you know?
Oh, yeah, I felt that.
Every minute we are closer to death.
Well,
Sorry.
are we
I took
speeding?
that
Are we speeding up though? Are we like getting into warp speed now?
That dropped me right in.
No, I got shook a little bit.
Induction, just like boom.
I mean, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Yes. Well, yeah, let's start.
Okay.
Wow, dear friends, dear everyone who has joined, we are in week 10. Week 10
Yay!
of Hug It Out. 2 months and 2 days. I can't even believe that. This is wild. My hair was like this much shorter. I had like a cute little bob. Now it's all jacked up. Anyway, it's all good. So let's see. If you are new, you have joined an online place to deeply connect and restore during COVID-19. I have committed to being here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. for us to come together. Let's see. This has been a phenomenal learning time for me with these past 10 weeks of learning deep practices in presencing, deep practices in Hakomi, energetically, how to protect your body. And if there's anything you want to review or watch, they're on replay at my website, nalucenter.com, including this one if you miss it, because I think I jacked up my Zoom links. Darn. So tonight is someone I connected with through Mark Goodman. He is a dear friend and a Hakomi therapist, and he runs a podcast called Soul Matters. He interviews people, he and a co-host interviews people who do soul work. So I listened to this podcast and I heard our next guest, Dawn Grace, on it, and she is a death expert. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to meet this woman. I was captivated, inspired, and just needed to connect in with her. So Mark connected us and we had Zoom coffee, which was quite fun. And I was so inspired by how she holds dying and death and the ceremonies around death. So I had to bring her here so we could explore this a little bit more together. So Dawn, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, totally delightful to have you. I want to open with a question for you. I did not give you a heads up. So I'm curious what's just going to like pop right up. So I am curious what the funniest or most hilarious response has been, or memorable response has been, when you've told someone what you do.
The most memorable response. Okay, well, I've never really had a funny response, which I am definitely waiting for that. But memorable, I think someone turned around and looked me square in the eyes and said, when I die, I want you to be there. And I thought, that is amazing. Like that's, just, it's such an honor to be present to somebody's most important events. And wow, if death isn't one of them, I think it really stuck with me that I thought I want to hold that with a lot of reverence.
Yeah, I see how much that touches you when you say that. Deeply meaningful.
Definitely more meaningful than funny, though. I'm waiting for funny.
Yeah, I'm curious what that might be.
Well, mostly because when I talk about death, I delight in it so strongly that I can't imagine that I will make it out of this lifetime without somebody saying something, at least a little snarky.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I can just see your car rocking all these different bumper stickers. Like like when we've talked, you were like, it's not, what did you say? I looked you up on LinkedIn and it says like bringing life to death.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Well, I used to be a nurse midwife, and I had a bumper sticker, speaking of bumper stickers, that said, midwives help people out. And I think I need a bumper sticker. Actually, I feel really strongly that it has to be along those lines. I'm helping people out. A death midwife, I'm helping people out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So Dawn, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, just give us like a couple of minute overview of what you want us to know about you, if you'd be willing.
Well, I am a person who delights in all the gates, in life and death and everything in between, all the transitions that we experience. And I feel like something I would want you to know about me is that I want every single person that I meet to actually look forward to the end of their lives, because they have lived their lives so fully in every moment that they're just like, all right, bring it. Whenever it happens, they're ready. That is what I want you to know about me. I got here in a very unusual way. I was obsessed with death since a very young age. And then when I graduated from college, I went straight into nursing and into oncology, which as a 23-year-old, you don't really usually choose oncology. But there happened to be a space open for me. And so I started out on a floor where they were never going to make it to hospice because it was that imminent, which was, kind of being thrown into it. And then I got really, really burnt out on that after several years and went into nurse midwifery. So then I was going on the other end of the spectrum. And then finally I decided to, because it's fun, I decided to change my career path again, and realized that really my passion is in the transitions, as I explained before, and that I was ready to go back to helping people to experience death in a more positive way and to experience life in a more positive way because of that. I think that's it. I don't know what else I would tell you.
Yeah.
I was born in Emporia, Kansas. No, I'm not.
That's what we were missing right there. That's the one.
Wait, yeah.
So when you say that you like to help people move through those transitions, what's happening for you when you take someone or walk with someone through those transitions? What is that like for you?
It's kind of an out-of-body experience for me as well, because the ego, I feel like, leaves, and it's just you holding the space for this moment of amazingness, because it really is, to watch somebody come into the world and to leave the world is, if anybody here has experienced that, that it's just inexplicable. So I would say for me, it's almost like someone else, I'm watching the experience, but I'm so deep in it and so connected to it that I'm just sort of an observer. I don't know how to explain it any better than that.
Right. And you're so right there with them while they're having their experience. And simultaneously, you're having your own kind of like mind-blowing experience where you're kind of soul to soul at that moment.
It truly is.
Yeah.
I think it's less about an individual experience that I'm having with that person, and more of it becomes such a community consciousness that I can't even explain it to you, where you're just thinking, we are all human beings having this experience, and in this moment I am just a human with this human, or oftentimes I'm actually asked to be with people's pets, or with them as they're putting their pets or transitioning their pets as well. So it's just like being with a being.
Yeah. So you've seen both sides. You've seen the coming into the world through midwifery, and then you've seen going out of this world. Cool.
It is. I mean, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Because people leave, okay, really, people leave this earth the way they lived their lives. That's the thing I figured out. And that's also probably why I'm so like just passionate about this, because I have watched people leave the earth so afraid and so just like grasping. And then I've watched people leave this earth peacefully. And, you know, I just want that. I want that for everyone.
Yeah. So when you've seen the ones that have come into the world and you've experienced that, you've felt that, and then the other spectrum of those leaving the world, for you, how is that different? How does that feel different? How is that experience different? Or not?
Well, I think when you're catching a baby, it's pure potential. You know, you're like really bringing this child in. Gosh, that part, I mean, it sounds really kind of morbid, but you're bringing them in to die. Like really, you're coming into this world to leave this world. So, I mean, it's kind of profound when you think about it. But it's such a celebration of you get this chance to do these things in this lifetime, little being.
Yeah.
So that's definitely different than the opposite, which is, you know, you've had your life and this is it. And let's make it the best that it can be.
Yeah.
It's just a different kind of peace, really.
So one thing I love talking about with you is this past year, I have had 3 significant deaths in my life. 3 totally different kinds of dying. The first being my father, who I was estranged from for 20 some years, and he died with full of regret, full of, it wasn't a peaceful death. It was really a hard death, and we reconnected, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal healing for me. And then I witnessed my grandmother dying. You know, she was like cute and 92 and lived a great life. And it was peaceful, and it was sweet, and it was calm. And then I witnessed a good friend die, and she died of breast cancer at 49 with a 5-year-old little one. And, you know, she wasn't ready to die, and she was clawing onto life. And, you know, I saw all like just this crazy breadth of differences between all of these ways of dying. It was cool, and it was kind of like, whoa, weird. And I don't want to die, you know, like these, you know, too, but like my grandma, my popoa, my mom's mom, she just like nailed it. She nailed dying. She really did. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was peaceful. She said what she had to say. You know, it was like tears of gratitude from me. I was just like so grateful for her being and for her life here. And so you go ahead.
I was going to ask you, did you feel like it was different though? Because, you know, knowing that she was that age, that she'd had a full life, and she knew that she'd had a full life, and then but then having your friend who has a 5-year-old and knows the things she's going to miss and all of that. How did you deal with that? Because you're observing. And
My friend that died.
mm-hmm.
So that was a wild experience. So her husband called me, and he's like, you know, she's not doing well. She'd been battling breast cancer for about a year, doing really alternative healing. And the last time I saw her, she was doing really well. And she was like, I'm cancer free. But in the back of my head, I'm like, but you're so tired. Like, I don't understand why you're so tired if you're healed. And then a few weeks later, her husband calls and says, you know, she's not doing well. Send a lot of prayers. And I'm like, huh? Like, they were just in Disney World. It was wild. And so I went to go see her. And when I saw her, I'm like, oh, you're dying. Like, you are dying. And so I asked her, I'm like, honey, like, and she couldn't really talk very much at this point. I'm like, honey, are you dying? She's like, I don't really know. Like, I haven't really done this before. And I was like, I'm pretty sure you're dying, in the nicest, kindest, loving way I said that.
Sure.
I drew it. And, you know, really seeing this, like she didn't want to die. And I get that she didn't want to die. But on the other hand, she was dying. And so it was quite clear there's no undying at this point. Like, you can't undie from where she was at. It was like, she actually died like 2 days later after I saw her. But the things that I wish I knew of, stages of the body as it was dying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wish I knew about that kind of stuff. I wish I knew cognitively what kind of happens. I did read a couple of books it was like a year right before my dad died. I had just like collected all of this reading around the dying experience. And there was one that just like sank so deeply into myself. It was called like Final Gifts.
Oh, yeah.
All around the language of dying, all the nonverbals, all the types of language that people use as code words in terms of what they were going through. And so with my dad, I could hear these code words. I was like, it was Brad, actually. He was like halfway in the spirit world, and he could talk about what was going on there. But with my friend, it was a little bit different. It wasn't as clear. I mean, it was definitely, she was super dying. And sorry if my language is not very, like PC.
Death can be so irreverent. It really can. You can be super dying. I kind of hope I'm super dying when it happens. And Jendi, I might want you there. Dawn, you are super dying.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh, Lori, I just like feel her here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just felt really blessed to have these books that were written about the dying process. So back to my friend, it was wild to watch this experience. It was wild to see her daughter like the exact same age as my youngest.
Yeah.
My 2 daughters were there when her daughter had to say goodbye and help her say goodbye. It was like, devastating to watch. And it was also really beautiful. We sang at the foot of her bed, and that's really hard to do, by the way. With a couple of other friends, we sang. So yeah.
What a gift.
All of the dying that I've been around have been remarkable gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have been.
Yeah, when you talked about not being able to stop the dying,
Yeah,
you can't. I realize I have like a sort of a nervous laugh when I talk about death. It's so weird. I'm gonna try not to, but I might just be that irreverent about it by this time. I'm not sure. But when you talk about not being able to stop death, well, it's the same with birth. I've had so many mamas say to me, "Okay, I changed my mind. I'm not doing this," and you can't. Like, it's going to come out one way or another, and I feel like death is very much like that. People, it's just sort of an acceptance of what is.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Even if there's no acceptance, you're still like
No, you're
slipping
going
on
to do
out.
it. Yep. Yeah. So you can either have that death where actually everyone needs to midwife. It needs to be everyone who's midwifing that person, because sometimes they are saying, I don't want to do this, and you gotta just say, oh no, this is happening and I'm here.
Yeah. I remember my dad being so scared, just so scared. And I was like, I'll just sit here with you while you're scared. And I was by myself with him in hospice, and I wish I had more language, but also on the other hand, it was a gift of no language.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah. Okay. That feels good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's much better.
Mm.
And really to just be present. Sometimes it's weird for me to talk about death because I think it's not really something I can explain, you know, because you're just present to it. You're just there for it. There's no formula. There's no, I mean, you can read about it in the books. Like, yeah, it does kind of sort of follow something occasionally, but there's no formula for showing up to it.
And this is where I fell so strongly into the Hakomi practices of being with someone.
Yes.
Just
oh my gosh.
being with.
Yeah, definitely. My foot just fell asleep, so we're gonna do something.
Oh God, work
Sorry.
that out. Well, Dawn, I know you have something prepared for us. Like, you bring people through these experiential hypnosis exercises. You've talked about hosting death cafes, which I super want to go to. You talk about you're creating a death school.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you, I mean, tell us more about that?
Well, when I was trying to come up with the name of what I wanted to do, I decided it was Death School because it's like death is cool. That's just between us. But I was like, that's so awesome. And nobody needs to know that I'm thinking death is cool. So Death School is really, it's mostly a workshop situation where people come in and I spend sometimes a day and sometimes a weekend just taking people through the fear of death, through gosh, even the things that are going to happen to your body when you die, just the physiological facts of the matter, because sometimes when we know that that's going to happen, you know, like when you give birth, if you know you're going to poop, it's like, all right, sometimes you can get over that. It's like, yeah, I'm going to poop. But when you don't know and you poop, you're like, wait. So that's exactly like death. But it's nice to kind of have an idea of, yeah, this is what happens physiologically. And then also to bring them to a place of the end of their lives through hypnosis and other, you know, other ways of well, it's mostly hypnosis. I'm not gonna, it's really hypnosis. And so you're having this experience of coming to the end of your life and you're seeing what it looks like. And even if hypnosis is all imagination and that's all you're doing, it is so powerful to imagine yourself at the end and to think, okay, beginning with the end in mind, I can go back out into the world and maybe see it and feel it and live it a little differently. So that's where Death School really comes in. It is sort of a school. It's a school, you know, there's a school of life and then there's the school of death. And I think I'm trying to manifest the school of death. It's all really a concept in terms of making it more of a organized effort, because in the beginning when I started doing this, I called it Death School, but it was mostly just, you know, something that I had put together. And now I'm trying to do a little more organization. And I am also hoping to kind of bring hospice into a more practical sense with Death School, where there are people who are trained to go in and midwife, you know, some people who might die alone, who have no one, or to be with the families who need support and that sort of thing, but in a different way than hospice provides. So I don't know if that's, I just kept talking, but
I can't wait. I love your offering. So I will let you take the floor then. Is that fine?
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we begin, what I want to do is I want to lead you through sort of an Ericksonian hypnosis, which means it's less of a taking you on a walk through the you know, through the forest to relax, as it is sort of a way of confusing the mind. So if you're not interested in exploring this with me, then this would be a good time for you to go. And probably just, that's totally cool. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that if you're here, I have your permission to do this, because that is always very important to me, that I have permission first to do this. So before we begin, if you need to use the restroom, this is a good time to do it. This is only going to be about a 15-minute experience. Is that okay with you, Jendi? Is that too long? Fine? Okay, cool. It is a very, very light hypnosis. My favorite thing about it is that you will hear my voice the entire time. It's really important that you hear my voice the entire time, but also that you feel like you have some personal, control of the situation if you can hear my voice. Because, death can kind of feel a little interesting for all of us. And we want to feel like we have control so often. But I'm going to ask you to use your Hakomi minds right now and just observe and listen with that observing mind. If you have headphones, that would be great. And if you don't, no big deal. This is going to be, Zoom calls, it's a little different than it is when you're at home, or rather in the office, and experiencing it with, a live voice. But we're going to try it anyway. So get comfortable. You do not have to be laying down. You can be laying down if you want to. Get comfortable. And then I'm going to ask you specifically to take a nice deep breath, but wait, because it's a very important deep breath where you breathe into the count of 4 and blow out to the count of 8. And if you'd like, if you don't want me to be watching you, not that I'm going to be watching you, but if you don't want me to see you, please feel free to take yourself off the, out of the picture, and you'll just listen to my voice. So we're going to breathe into the count of 4 and blow out to the count of 8. And we're going to do this 4 times, and it's going to be 4 very deep, very just juicy, wonderful breaths. Breathing in. Do it 3 more times. Breathing into the count of 4. Blowing out to the count of 8. You're going to notice when you're breathing out to the count of 8 that you're really propelling your air out all the way to the end of your breath. Breathing into the count of 4. Blowing out to the count of 8. And one more time, breathing into the count of 4. Blowing out to the count of 8. Good. Now I'm going to ask you to open your eyes and allow them to look up toward your eyebrows. So staring up toward your eyebrows, really trying to focus up, up, up. Maybe finding a spot on the ceiling that you're going to focus on. It doesn't have to be a real spot. It can be a pretend spot. But your eyes are going to be focusing up toward your eyebrows. Your eyes will get very tired. You're really stretching your eyeballs, staring up. And while you're staring up and listening to my voice, I'm going to count from 20 to 1. And after each number, I want you to close your eyes. Say the word deeper to yourself in your mind, and then open your eyes and continue to stare at the spot and wait for the next number. Now, when I reach the number 7, if you want to close your eyes and keep them shut at that time, it's perfectly fine. But just continue to say the word deeper to yourself after each number, so that by the time we reach the number 1, it feels so good to close your eyes and keep them shut. And I'll begin to count. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just allow your eyelids to gently meet. You don't have to force them shut. You may have that feeling of blinking, and that's perfectly fine. Just begin to relax very deeply to the sound of my voice. And before we begin, I just want to say a few words about the fear of death. Fear of death or fear of dying is very common. This is understandable as humans and all animals have a healthy survival instinct. It's the same survival instinct that ensures that we will stay alive and in good health for as long as possible. Fear of death only becomes a problem when it becomes a preoccupation or obsession that affects our ability to function or enjoy life. Now, for some people, the thought that one day we will cease to exist in our current form can be difficult to understand and a source of fear or high anxiety. Sometimes it's not death as much as it is the process of dying. People may feel concerned that the process may be less than comfortable, perhaps as a result of having witnessed someone else's experience, or even from seeing something on TV. However, once you gain a true perspective on death and sense how occasional awareness of death can actually motivate you to live your life to the fullest, then life becomes a much more enjoyable, pleasant, and relaxing experience. And so my words here are going to go deep into your subconscious mind, where you'll allow them to improve your life in a positive way. Because it's one thing to be aware of or think about death, but quite another thing to have unnecessary thoughts and feelings that weigh us down and spoil our lives. One of the worst aspects of fear of death is that it is a waste of time and energy. No amount of worrying will delay death. It will only make life more miserable. Now, for some people, the fear of death is associated with concerns about aging. Modern society is obsessed with age. There's increasing pressure to continue looking and acting young, living longer and healthier. This has resulted in a loss of the sense of the real value of old age, the benefit of a lifetime's experience, the strength, resilience, and resourcefulness that are only learned during the passage of years. Research shows that if we take care of ourselves, ensuring that our basic needs, such as fitness, diet, and relaxation, are met, then the aging process slows and we live longer, more fulfilling lives. Just as the humble caterpillar has no awareness of its future rebirth as a beautiful butterfly, so too it is said that before we came into this world, we had no sense of our existence here. So when we finally depart from this world, it is likely that we will feel no different from before. A healthy, momentary awareness of our mortality can be a powerful motivator to ensure that we make the most of each and every day, living life to the fullest. And you probably know of Scrooge in Charles Dickens' story, A Christmas Carol, who sees the error of his ways when a ghost takes him into the future to see his grave. All neglected, just as he had neglected other people in his life. The awareness of the temporary nature of the trivial things that he worshipped helped him to reform. So his awareness of his own mortality made him a better, more humble, and happier person. And we do not know for sure what happens to the human spirit after death, but the more that you live your life with zest and vigor in this life, the stronger your spirit will become. So in a moment, I'd like you to prepare to relax more deeply. If you have an itch, you can scratch it. If you feel like you need to move and make yourself comfortable, please feel free, because in your own time and in your own way, just allowing your eyes to close even more comfortably, restfully listening, and you know a wise man once said, dying is just like moving from one room to another. No need to be concerned about the room that you are not in, curiously focusing your attention on where you are right now. With your eyes closed, you can begin to relax even more deeply. While at first you might be more aware of certain things than you were before, any sounds in the room, the sound of my voice, the comfort of your body, certain sensations in your hands or feet, or how the eyelids feel heavy as you continue to relax more deeply, and thoughts, images, or sounds can just drift into your mind without trying or not trying. And this can happen all by itself. And it's quite natural, instinctive, to become more and more aware of things that you might otherwise overlook or ignore, thoughts, feelings, sensations, as you follow my voice, and the changes in your awareness as you begin to sense a gradual letting go, breathing calm and tranquility into every nerve, muscle, and system of your body, and just letting go. Letting go even of the effort that it takes to be aware of where your arms are, where they are not, or your hands or your fingers feeling a certain way. As you continue to relax even more deeply, really allow yourself to relax right now. This is a gift to yourself. And sometimes the hands feel cooler or warmer or just the same as you drift deeper and deeper into the experience of just letting go, even of the effort that it takes to be aware of which leg seems to relax more quickly or more completely than the other. Seems too much effort to bother with. And just letting go in your own time and in your own way as the mind drifts and flows down to a place of quiet stillness, a place of just being, and soothing colors sounding so restful, flowing throughout your body and mind, that you notice those arms relaxing all by themselves. And the air around you has a magical quality of taking you deeper and deeper with every breath that you take. And you can begin to get a sense of a graceful hot air balloon floating against a beautiful, perfect sky of shimmering blue. A dreamlike lightness taking it higher and higher. And the lighter it feels, the higher it goes, glistening and glimmering, flickering in a comfortable, life-giving sun, almost as if you can see it now and watch with interest and curiosity as it drifts, floating further and further away, drifting toward a distant horizon, and out of sight and out of mind that you notice it disappearing. And it seems as if it ceases to be, and yet that balloon continues to exist in another place, with a lightness of being, drifting naturally with the wind and peacefully moving on. And your subconscious mind has learned something very, very valuable, and a new way of thinking is emerging, and feeling so much calmer, laying a soothing stillness around life. And you know how when a life is nearing the end of its natural span. When a life is nearing the end of its natural span, and how naturally and instinctively a person like you can notice feeling a sense of calm, contentment, and inner peace. And each piece making up a whole, so that the whole of you can feel at peace and enjoy and celebrate life so much more when feeling wholly at peace. And you know, do you not, what it's like to be outside of a situation and to be looking on with a calm detachment, with a playful sense, and just continue. Get a sense of seeing yourself like on a TV or cinema screen, noticing what it is about that over there on the screen that allows you here watching to know that you're really enjoying yourself, having fun, joking, and just getting on with your life, being, thriving, flourishing. And when you're at peace and tranquility with that you, living life to the fullest, calm and safe, relaxed in that situation, and so many other kinds of situations can safely come to mind. And the more that you get a sense of that, the more you can notice yourself relaxing deeper. And notice how even when that you over there has thought a thought of mortality, you can remain even calmer and more relaxed. And notice how that thought becomes such a powerful motivator to live life to the full. Just like a time in the past comes to mind, consciously or unconsciously. That's right, a time when you too were just so motivated, having that real, just got to do it feeling. And take a few seconds to realize what that feels like. And take that feeling with you into the present now and into a more fulfilling and rewarding future, living with ease and secure in the knowledge that you are happier and more fulfilled, that you have a super powerful unconscious mind that is working for you. And now it wants you to be the best that you can be and relax deeper. As you notice yourself in the future, free from any unnecessary burdensome fear or anxiety, as if in a wonderfully calming dream, get a sense of yourself in the future, say in 1 month or 2 months, when you are calmer and more relaxed, quite free from that any anxiety that you have, that you used to have, as you notice yourself living and enjoying life, seeing yourself as you want to be and will be, and how you enjoy your time so much more doing those things that give you joy and pleasure naturally and instinctively. And your unconscious mind continues to have valuable new insights. And you can sense how you will be in a year's time when life has been so much more meaningful, and in 5 or 10 years' time. And what a joy it is to watch yourself with curiosity, having fun and laughing and joking and feeling calm and relaxed with your family or friends. And in so many situations, and how people respond differently to you when you are joyful and calm. Now, in a few moments, on a count of 3, really enjoy the mysterious, dreamlike sensation of looking back from that time in the future toward now. And really notice the benefits and improvements when you flow through life naturally with ease and so calm. And 1, and 2, and 3. Looking back from that future time and noticing all the wonderful things you have achieved in your life. Just take a moment now. And with a wonderful sense of how things are going to be different. You can prepare to return to full wakeful alertness in a moment. And I'll count from 10 to 1. And when I get to the number 1, you can open your eyes, feeling wonderfully refreshed, alive and alert, feeling so good, so ready for a good night's sleep, feeling so relaxed, so at ease. 10 and 9, 8. Perhaps feeling more alert, but also still relaxed and ready for a good night's sleep. 7. Coming back into your body. 6. 5. Feeling so good. More aware of the sounds around. 4. And 3. Feeling so ready for a good night's sleep. 2. And 1. And as you open your eyes, remember, the question is not whether we will die, but how we will live. Take another nice deep breath. Feeling so good, so relaxed. One more nice deep breath. And have the best night's sleep. Dream about what you love. Thank you, Jendi.
Thank you so much. I'm as heavy as a log.
Good.
And that
You're
feels
going to sleep great.
Do you like receiving feedback, or do you like opening up to hear other people's experiences, or is it best to go to sleep?
I do like that. And the best thing is really to just take this moment and take it to bed with you or take it into your bedtime routine. So if anybody wants to email me or text me or call me, I would be open to that. But I want you to just really enjoy the relaxation right now.
Thank you. Well, let's do that. We'll take this straight to sleep. And if you would, Dawn, share, if you would just speak how people can connect with you.
Sure
That
thing.
would be lovely. Yeah.
Would you like me to send in the chat maybe my information? Would that help? I'll do that real quick.
Go ahead and do that.
I'm going to give you my email. There we go. Okay.
Excellent. And I will also put that up on the website when there is a replay. And in closing, Dawn, what a gift this has been. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. It was a gift for me too. I appreciate you. Thank you.
I appreciate you so much. That was wild and magical, and I'm so glad we're connected. I cannot wait to hear more. I'm rooting you on so big.
Thanks, Debbie.
Excellent. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
All right. Well,
yeah.
have the best dreams.
You too, everyone. And to next week, should you want to join, we have a wonderful episode lined up for us. 2 great friends and Hakomi therapists. We've come together because we've delighted in being with each other and talking about groundlessness. How in this time in COVID, we are groundless and how it feels yuck, but how it also is this great place, kind of like how I feel right now, of being free. So we will talk a lot about that time. Man, I don't have words. So yeah, there'll be more in written when I wake up in the morning. But next week we will have a wonderful thing planned. And that's about all the language I can use. Good night, everyone. Sleep so well. Dawn, thank you.
Thank you.
Mwah. Good night, everyone.
Good night.